Hello. After a long while away from the channel, I think I'm gonna be back for a few more videos. And I want to start by talking about something that I said I was going to talk about on this channel on earlier videos, and I didn't do it till now, which is about the cerebral narcissist, which is a very important topic, and I haven't seen too much. The channels I have uh, seen, which were not so many at the time of the depression, my phase depression and anger, at the time of all the turmoil, I never seen something specially dedicated to it. So I think it is important that this type of narcissist is discussed about. I didn't think much about it. I just wanted to be out there. Uh, but the cerebral narcissist is a kind of monster that focuses his attack on your mind and on your soul. It sounds very corny, but that's the truth. It's the kind of narcissist that slowly poisons your mind. His attack, or her attack, in my case it was a female narcissist, well, their attack is slow, gradual, and very subtle, under the table. Their attack is chemical, but it's not so fast as the first narc that I had to deal with, which was the somatic. She was very sexual, uh, openly seductive, more kind of a dramatic narcissist. No, the cerebral narcissist attacks you chemically like the somatic, but while the somatic narcissist can attack you like this, for example, with the eye contact, if you're sitting on a table, the somatic narcissist attacked me like looking at my eyes for a prolonged time. And I did some research about it, and I discovered that if somebody looks at you for a prolonged period of time in a seductive way, not in an aggressive manner, some chemical reaction happens to you that makes you fall kind of some hormones. I don't know if the hormones that are liberated on your bloodstream are hormones of pleasure, but when the narcissist seduces you by looking at your eyes for an extended period of time, giving you full attention, some hormones of pleasure are liberated on your bloodstream, and you get pleasure from that. And it's like the narcissist is coercing you to fall in love with him or her instantaneously. So it's very overt. The somatic narcissist does this. But the cerebral is not so overt. He's doing this in a hidden manner, more slowly, with time. The cerebral narcissist makes you feel pleasure little by little in order to seduce you. The cerebral narcissist love bombs you in a very in small doses, whether it's going to happen via social media or in person. He's very restrained, the cerebral narcissist, and that's why I think the poison goes. This type of psychopath, the cerebral one, the poison is very slow and takes months, maybe 6 months, a year, or more for him or her to seduce you, but he's gonna start his to work his way into your heart and into your mind. That's the reason why after I got dumped, or even better, I was discarded, I was very afraid of everybody. Very afraid. I had PTSD, lots of symptoms, and when I started therapy, my psychotherapist, she told me, go for walks and talk to people. I want you to do that. And I was very afraid to simply talk to anyone because I was so afraid of being seduced, of being manipulated, and without even knowing it. Because that's what the cerebral narcissist does. Um, the cerebral narcissist doesn't take, he feeds off of you like the somatic, but in order for him or her to be stimulated, he's gonna need your intelligence. He's gonna target you for your intelligence, your sensitivity, your, if you're an artistic person, because the stimuli, he's gonna be stimulated by cerebral things, things that have to do with your emotions, or with your mind, with your intelligence, with the information that you have, the emotions that you can provide, and that's where the pleasure of the cerebral narcissist comes from. That's he feels pleasure in these things, and he's gonna feed off these things from you, whether your intelligence or your emotions. A lot of emotions. Oh yes, she did that to me. She made me feel every possible emotion that you can feel when you're being seduced and in love. And after, not only that, they say that a psychopath makes you feel the amount of hormones of pleasure that are liberated in the bloodstream is unnatural, because it's higher, the levels are higher than a normal relationship, a healthy relationship. So it's like a drug, a real drug. And not only love, not only the drugs of love, but some other drug, because the levels are higher. Right, so I just said that the cerebral narcissist is gonna feel stimulated by your emotions and your intelligence. That's what, at least that's how it was with me. The sexual content of the conversations is gonna be minimal with the cerebral narcissist. He's gonna like, or she's gonna like, your compliments, but if you do it too much, the narcissist will end the conversation, or will be upset and will ask you to stop it, and will ask you not to be too overt about sexual compliments or about the sexual content of conversation. It is known, and not only I read this on a material on the book written by Sam Vakning, which I bought. And as I explained before, I bought because I needed some answers that only I could find only there. And I found them there. And about the cerebral narcissist and his relationship or her relationship with sex. But I found it on other sources as well later, that the cerebral narcissist hates sex, can't stand it. He might have sex in order to get his primary source of supply. It is usually a husband or a wife who will feed him or her, give him clothes, pay for his treatments, whether they are health treatments or aesthetic treatments like teeth and stuff. Primary source of supply, okay? Then he will stop having sex in that marriage or in that stable union, and not have sex and look for pleasure via other addictions. And the other addictions are you, me, which are the secondary sources of supply. And then other things, very weird and sick things like reading. The cerebral narcissist will be addicted to reading. If you didn't know that exists, you will be aware that my cerebral female narcissist was very she knew about a lot of stuff. She had a lot of information and she could remember like that, you know. You said about a book and she said, well, this who wrote this book was this writer. And I could think, I thought, what the hell, how do you know that? How can you remember all those dates, you know? And the cerebral narcissist will know the literature from ancient, you know, Greece and Egypt and all the great names. And, you know, just an example, I don't even know if Egypt had a good literature. But he will know the main names, the poets, and the main poems and everything. He will remember, and not from that period, you know, from ancient history to modern times. He will know that. If he wants to know about it, he will know that. One of the reasons because of his or her reading addictions. He's addicted to reading. After a while, reading gives some pleasure hormones and stuff. I don't have any information. It's been a long time since I read about all that. And then addicted to you and to other secondary sources of supply, because he's going to discard you and he'll be addicted to somebody else, because you're not going to be able to provide the same amount of pleasure that you provided in the beginning of the relationship, and you're gonna start demanding, asking for more intimacy, and the narcissist does not like intimacy, and you're gonna have desires, carnal desires towards him or her, and because she can't handle intimacy, she can't handle sex, so she's gonna push you away and find another one in order to maintain things on a cerebral and spiritual level. At least my female narcissist said she wanted to be ethereal and spiritual, but if you're addicted, you're not ethereal or spiritual, you're a materialist to the highest degree, because you need chemicals in your brain in order to stimulate you. So you're just in the mud like any other drug addict in this world, you know. We could say that to these sick individuals. If the narcissist loses his primary source of supply, he might start having sex again, but then he'll stop when things are established, you know, the relation. When he wins the primary source after the love bombing phase, and he gets the source hooked, he's gonna make the rules, you know, the rules will be his rules or her rules, and there will be no sex no intimacy. Strangely enough, he doesn't consider sex to be an important part of human experience, the cerebral narcissist. Now I'm gonna talk to you about some characters, one character that comes to my mind. But I'm gonna have to stop this video now because I'm running out of time there. Um, I'm gonna have to divide it in parts. And see you soon. Bye bye.